Hello, everybody. So today I'm going to talk about the labor market in California. And the reason why I decided to look up this topic is because after my MBA, I'm going to be looking at, I'm going to be relocating. And I wanted to see what kind of labor markets are the strongest out in California. So here I have a disclaimer from where I got the data set. It's from the current employment statistics. So, if you guys want to pause it so you can read it, you can feel free. But pretty much what it says is that where all this data is comes from where the jobs are located in the specific county. The jobs are counted regardless of how many hours are worked, and individuals obviously can hold more than one job, so they're also counted. So it's really just counting the total overall jobs in a certain industry that are in the counties. And of course, these are all estimates. They're all given by the county, I imagine, to the state. So the raw data that I have that was downloaded, this is pretty much the raw data. It gives the county, the year, the month, the series code, which I imagine identifies what kind of industry it is. Obviously, industry title, if it's seasonally adjusted, and the current employment, which is over here. So that was the current employment for the first line in Alameda County in 2014 in January for goods producing industry was around 100,000. You can see it up here. But there are 700,000 rows of this data. It goes back until 1990. So the first thing that I had to do was really try to get my mind around this data, is try to filter it. So I decided to filter it, and what it includes in the filtered data, which I'm going to show you in the next slide, is the years. So I picked the 5 most recent years, so 2013 to 2017. I picked 10 industries: accommodation, food services, educational and health service, goods producing, government, healthcare and social assistance, leisure and hospitality, private service provider, professional business services, service providing, and trade, transportation, and utilities. So I picked those. When I looked through the data itself, those were the 10 quote unquote highest employing industries for the 5 counties that I picked, which were Alameda, San Francisco, Los Angeles, San Diego, and Sacramento County. So, sorry about that. So the first tab that we have here, you can totally see you can scroll through the 5 counties that I picked, and then here are the 10 industries that I said that I had. So this pretty much just shows the average total employment by industry, specifically for Alameda County. And these are all the averages, because I have to take the averages of this data for all the slides. It shows the average by month employment for between 2013 and 2017. So in any given month, in Alameda County, there are roughly, if industry service providing, there are roughly around, around maybe 630,000 jobs in those industries. And then when you scroll through, you can see that this Alameda County has 9 industries. If you scroll to Los Angeles has all 10. Private service providing is really had a lot of data from that in San Diego County and Los Angeles County. The other 3 counties, so you can remember this color here, San Diego has it too, but San Francisco doesn't have it, Sacramento doesn't have it, and Alameda doesn't have it. So obviously it just means either the industry just doesn't exist in those counties, or the number of it is so low that it's just relatively not reported. But after I found out the average employment by month, just moving forward, it's your mind starts to think, it's okay, so what about the employment provided to these industries? So this next slide has all of the county names, and then all of the industries. I'm sorry, I drew a blank there. It has all the industries, so you can see as a total, this is the amount of jobs that these counties provide the state of California for these top 10 industries. Because remember, like, several other counties too have these industries in their, in their area. It's just that right now we're focusing on these 5 counties. But here you can see that obviously that service providing is like a big industry that California has. It's one of the biggest. And then, like I mentioned, private service providing, you can see here that red means Los Angeles County and green is San Diego County, that those two are just, from those 2 counties represent from the 5 that we have sampled, have this specific industry in its county. So I wanted to see in terms of a map, like how that plays out. So I have a map here so that people can see like the growth. But when you play it, the growth is like super minimal. That you really have to look closely to see if anything's like growing. So you can see that in San Francisco, it's growing really slowly, but the information for all this, like I said, is averages. So the average is only going to grow really, only going to grow this graph really a small amount. And then down here, when we get to Los Angeles, you can see obviously, because Los Angeles is one of the, probably the biggest county in California, that it has obviously a huge population. You can see there, when we play the video, you can see their growth a little bit more. But from here, this is where I got the idea of looking at the trends. Like, what kind of trend can we find from these employment figures? And then you can see San Diego's down here. It was growing a little bit, not really anything to mention. But from here, like I was saying, like I wanted to see like any trends that were coming along. So here we can see the total employment from 2013 to 2017. And obviously the employment's growing. We have a positive growth from less than 1.2 million, and right now we're probably at around 1.3 for education and health services for these 5 counties. But if we scroll across all the different types of industries, you can see that they're all going positively. So there are more jobs being created as time goes by for all of these industries, and private sector's going up too. But all the graphs that I was looking at, it really didn't help me with my main question. It's like, when's, who's hiring and when's the best time to probably possibly get hired. So that's when we came to this graph. And this graph really does explain a lot, and it helps you show what kind of trends or variances that you can see in the data that I have for the specific years, which are down here. Then we have every month in all the counties. So specifically, if I was to look at government, here in government, you can see if I pick January. Oh, hang on. Let's add all the months together again. So here you can see in January, this is the trend for over the 5 years. And if you click on 1 year, then the trend is relatively the same. So we can finally see, if we start scrolling through all of these different industries, you can finally see the trends, which is what I was really trying to get at to in terms of like solving my question, which is like in terms of these industries, when's the best time for you to get hired. But from here, you can always come up with other number of questions that you'd be able to look into, sort of like why is it that, in the government for the summer seems to not be hiring or have as many people employed, whereas in the beginning, in the first quarter, it seems like that's when they hire the most people. So I'm glad I was able to do this, because this chart right here is really the one that was able to help me answer my question. So hope you guys had a good time.